Welcome back to another episode of the Fighter and the Analyst. I'm your host, PK, the Fight Analyst, and this here is my man, the Joker himself, Peter Petties. What's up, man? How's it going?
Chilling. Life is good. We finally got a dance partner in 2
Hey.
weeks. I'm all smiles and we're ready to go.
Oh, hell yeah, man. We've been talking about this for at least a year now. Like I said, we can go back, look at the previous, Fighter and the Analyst episodes, and we talk about what we're going through when you were down here in Florida, going through, the grind after your surgery and shit. So to be where you are right now, how the hell does it feel? I know we're not there yet. We still got 2 weeks out. I know I may be getting too overly excited here, but like, how do you feel to finally get someone to put that ink on the paper and possibly get a fight going?
Man, it feels good. Honestly, it's just one of those things where manifesting. I always talk about the law of attraction and just doing all the right things and knowing that it's going to work out. Now that I'm slowly become a vet in the sport, it's one of those things where I'm learning from past previouses of not being ready, taking short notice when I shouldn't have taken short notice. And one thing that I said that we've been saying for the last year is just staying in shape, eating right, and knowing that it's going to come. Sooner or later, someone's going to sign the contract, and I've done that, and somebody finally signed. So I'm excited, man. It's just one of those things now. It's just about 2 weeks from now. I'm putting this guy to sleep, and then on to the next.
Oh, hell yeah, man. I'm super stoked there. What's up, Derek? Thanks for showing up and being here watching with us. But yeah, man, like I said, I'm super excited. I don't know if I maybe be more excited than you. Like we talked about it. Like I ask you like maybe periodically on like a week to week basis. You got anything? We got any fight news? And he's like, oh, it's coming. But finally someone put that ink to paper. So I'm excited for you. To finally get your career back on track. Get that get the fight going, and then kind of just take off from here. All right, can you hear me? Because it feels like I'm breaking up. Yeah, I feel like it is too. Hold on.
Yeah, it's like.
Can you hear me? Hold on. Give me a second. Let me mess up this mic. Audio. Give me a second. Where the fuck is my Yeti? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but it's like static.
Now. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's still static.
Yep. What the fuck is
I can hear you, but it's like static.
Hold on. Mike, Yeti. Can you hear me? Yeah?
I can hear you, but it's like static.
That's so weird. What the fuck? I don't know if it's my headphones. Okay, this is such annoying as shit. Hold on, yeah. It's still the same. All right, hold on. Let me try my different mic. Can you hear me? Hello? Are we good?
A lot better.
Yeah, it's got to be my. No? I feel like you can still hear me crackling over there.
Yep.
I know, it's fucking retarded, bro. It's so dumb. All right. I'm going to... Can you hear me?
Still crackling.
Really? That's so weird, bro. What the hell's going on? Oh.
You want to stop the live though?
What? Man,
Stop.
one day I'll be able to upgrade all my shit, you know. Oh man, this sucks. I'm just trying to get this in. We're trying to get a show on the road. This is worse now. What the hell? Oh, this is terrible, bro. What the fuck? I'm about to just go. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. We're having some very technical difficulties here. I need to get our man Peter back in this room, so give us a moment. I'm sorry about this, everybody. Normally, we're good. Tonight, today, not so much, but we'll get better. The plan is in the future, this will be on another level when it comes to podcasts. I will not be doing this from a computer. We'll be doing this in studio. So that is the plan. We will get there. Just got to give me a little bit until we finally get there. I need to share my screen. Okay. I know Peter will be back here shortly, so just give us some time, and then we'll get right into the breakdown. I don't want to take too much of your time here either, so we'll be here in a second. So yeah, how's everybody doing on the Saturday? I hope everybody's doing well. All right. Can you hear me? We good? Can you hear me? We good? Yeah?
There you go, a lot better.
All right. Maybe
Yes, a lot better.
Yeah, I just need to get the hell out of the system and come back in. Great. I'm happy there. Finally, we're here. Everything's working again. All right. But all we were just talking about, you finally getting back on track, you getting, a fight on track coming up as well. So what are your plans, from here on out? Finally that, you got someone that, that's coming up ahead of you. What are your plans, for that fight and then further on for this year as well?
Just stay as busy as possible. Right now, biggest thing is just preparing, making sure my body's ready to go. Doing all the right things, and then outside of that, just trying to stay as busy, go on this win streak, and then hopefully sign to the UFC before the year ends. I'm not even gonna say sign.
No, when? Yeah. Okay, we're kind of back onto the crackling. I feel like I don't know what the hell is going on. Is it me? Is it you? I feel like it's you.
Not me. I mean, it's only when you speak. So speak, watch.
All right, I see. All right, that's great. Like we're just fine. What the hell, man? We're just fine. Like everything is fine on my end. At least I think it is. Fuck, man. Shit. All right. I don't know if I'll be able to get out and go back in, because then you're gonna cut out again. This is ridiculous. It's just not letting us have a good fucking podcast right now. I just want to get through this shit. Like, how bad is it on my end? Like, it's really bad on your end.
It wasn't. Yeah.
Like, you can't even hear me, can you?
I can hear you, but it's getting worse.
Fuck. It's some bullshit. Man, I'm trying so hard. I mean, it sounds good right now, but no, there it goes. There it goes again. Fuck, man. I mean, if anybody's here watching, can you let me know, do you hear me as bad as he hears me? Just comment on here, because I would like to know, if you all are having troubles hearing me, just like our man Peter's having troubles hearing me. Because I'm trying to get through this breakdown for you guys, and want to get some money in your pockets. That is our goal. We just wanted to give a little bit of a background on Peter and his fight that's coming up as well. Hey, Josh, do you hear me well? Can you make the words that I'm saying right now? Because it sounds fine coming from me, but I'm wondering, can you hear me well? You can hear just fine. Okay. So it must be Peter on his end. It must be his Wi-Fi and such. I thought it was me. I thought I was going crazy. So at least it's not just me. All right. I appreciate you, Dennis, for showing up as well. Thank you so much. I can hear you, but it's in and out. Fuck, man. What the hell's wrong with me? Hey, man. Okay. There it goes again. We'll get it back on again. I kind of just want to get ready to break down for you guys, so we can I can make you guys some money. We can get you out of here. Fights start in 1 hour. That's right, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Fights are on ESPN Plus. Hey, how's it go? Can you hear me?
All right, maybe third time's the charm.
Hopefully. So is Mature Cody a mythical fighter yet? I don't know if Cody is a mature Cody is a mythical fighter yet. We'll get into that in a moment. But my man, yeah, I know it's breaking on your end, but for some reason, everybody that's hearing me hears me fine.
Oh, it's me?
It must be you and your connection. Are you on Wi-Fi?
I wasn't.
Maybe.
Oh, damn. Well, it's your boy. Let me get up out of here.
No. We need you here. We need you here. All right. With that said, I'm going to get into starting this breakdown, and he'll hop in as he gets back in here for us. So let's get this up. All right. So our first fight up on the prelims, early prelims, is a fight at 145 pounds. Oh, no, 155 pounds, sorry. Between Demir Usmagulov and Rafael Alves. Alves is 19-9, Usmagulov 22-1, 5'8" for the Brazilian, 5'10" for the Russian, 155 pounds across the board, 68-inch reach for Alves, 74-inch reach for Usmagulov. Right now, Usmagulov is the heaviest favorite at minus 510, and the comeback on Alves is a plus 440 underdog. Oh man, I'm really liking this fight. Obviously, Ismagulov is a top flight prospect coming in from Russia. He's looked absolutely phenomenal in his 2 fights in the UFC. His striking is top notch. He's going against a really good fighter in Alves, who trains down here at MMA Masters. He's a firefighter. I mean, like, he comes in there looking to put it on a firefight. He put on a show in his Contender Series fight. He got the win via guillotine choke. It was a close fight, but he he got the win, and that's really all that matters. I think he's a little outgunned here. I mean, Golov is the real deal, and minus 510 is, I think, the appropriate line for this matchup. It's going to be a hard fight, a hard. I feel like they're just giving him Alves a hard fight just because he came in such overweight in his last fight. I think it was 11 or 13 pounds overweight. But you really can't fault him. He was going through a lot of stuff in his personal life. So, you know, can't really take too much to blame there. But he came in at 155 on weight. He looks in great shape. But this is a very, very hard fight for him. I don't see him getting his first UFC win here against Ismagulov. Maybe they'll give him a more favorable matchup, his next time out. But this should be a good fight. You know, he comes in, he throws a ton of low kicks, some heavy punches, throws a good volume. But I think Ismagulov is just too powerful. He's much more technical striker, and he just got more in the gas tank. He's got more in the arsenal, and he's a legit threat. 155 pounds, minus 510. Obviously, I'm not one to bet that kind of line, but I do think he goes in and gets the job done. He's a decent parlayable piece. He should win. I think he should win comfortably as well. So I'm taking Ismagulov here minus 510 in parlays, and I think he should get the W here. Next up, we have a fight at 155 pounds between Yancy Medeiros and Damir Hadzovic. Yancey's 15-7, Hadzovic 13-6, 5'10" for Yancey, 5'9" for Hadzovic, 75.5-inch reach for Yancey, and Damir has a 70-inch reach. Right now, the line is set at Hadzovic minus 123, and the comeback on Yancey's the plus 113 underdog. All right. In this fight, we have two strikers facing off against one another. Right now, both of them are coming off of losing streaks. Yancey's coming off a 3-fight losing streak, while Damir Hadzovic is coming off a 2-fight losing streak. So both these guys are very, very desperate for a win here, which should make for a great matchup. The thing is about Yancey, he's not looked his best, especially at 155 pounds. He's been getting outstruck by pretty much everybody, especially in his last 3. He does throw a ton of volume, much more than Damir Hadzovic. But Damir Hadzovic is a much more technical striker. He's got that Thai boxing stance, very high guard. So I think it's going to be a lot harder for Yancey to land on him. He wasn't able to land a ton in his last fight against Lando Venata. I think he only landed about 34% of his strikes. So we already know going in that he's going to be at a sizable disadvantage here in the striking aspect of this fight. What the hell is this fight? Is this fight still on is the question, because I don't see it on UFCstats.com. But anyways, I'm going to keep going with it. As far as this fight goes, I feel my favorite bet on this fight is the under 2.5 rounds at plus 112. I think one of these two guys are going to get knocked out. I think more so it might be Yancey, given his woes when it comes to his his chin. It hasn't been holding up as of late. He's been finished in 2 of his last 3 fights. He's only fought once per year in his last 3 years. So I feel like the wars that he's been in has really been taking his toll. Yeah, Yancey fight is off. Okay, that's what I thought, because it's not on UFCstats.com. I did not know that, but that sucks because I really wanted to take the under 2.5 rounds there, because I feel like someone was gonna get finished. But if I was gonna take somebody, I would have taken Damir Hadzovic there. So I'm just gonna keep it moving. Thank you, Jason, for that. Yancey fight is off. Thank you. Just for everybody knowing, this fight is off the card. All right. So our next fight is a fight in the flyweight division between the number 11 ranked flyweight David Dvorak and newcomer taking this fight on 24 hours notice, Juan Camilo Landoros, I think you're gonna say. Dvorak is 19-3. Rondoros is 4-0. Um, Actually, these guys have trained together in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. So they're very much familiar with each other. Juan Camilo came in 2.5 pounds overweight, was fined 20% of his fight purse, which I think is absolutely dog shit. This guy did them a favor in stepping up on 24 hours notice to take on, someone as good as David Dvorak, 15 fight win streak. Juan Camilo is, he was 8-0 as an amateur, 4-0 as a professional, and he's putting that undefeated record on the line here, and he was still fined 20% of his purse. I think that's kind of really fucked up on their part, but it is what it is. But he's trying to get his name out there. He's only 4-0, so this is a really big step up in competition. I know he's fought Eric Shelton on, the regional scene. I believe he hasn't fought in about a year, almost 2 years as well. Man, this is a really tough fight for him on short notice. Dvorak is a real deal. He's 2-0 in the UFC. He's on a 15 fight win streak. I was gonna take him over Paiva when they were fighting, so it's hard for me to not take him here. I think his line is set at minus 475, and the comeback on Rondoros is plus 420. Yeah, that sounds about right. I feel like he should be even a heavier favorite, to be honest. Maybe it'll be fought a little bit closer, but as the fight progresses, I feel Dvorak will take over in the later rounds and get the win here. I think he wins by decision. I don't think he gets a finish. I think Juan Camilo is tough. He's a tough fighter. He's a gritty fighter, trains at Extreme Couture, so you're getting a good fighter out of him. But unfortunately, it's a big step up on extreme short notice. We're talking 24 hours. So I just hope for the best for him, and I hope he puts on a show where he's able to come back, get a full camp, and possibly get another fight under his belt. So yeah, I'm all over Dvorak here. I'm probably going to place him and Ismagulov in a parlay with somebody else as well. I think those two are the more, let's say, easier plays on this fight card as well. All right. Next up is a fight at 145 pounds between Josh Kolaba and Shailin. I can't even say his last name. Yailin Shah, because the way that UFC has it, it's a little different, but it's gonna be hard for me to say that name. But yeah, Yailin Shah is a plus 225 underdog, and the comeback on Kolaba's minus 245 favorite. Kolaba, he's actually has looked impressive, especially in his last fight against Carlos Jourdain. He was a pretty big underdog in that fight, and he fought him tooth and nail to a draw. He actually dropped Jourdain in that fight. He put on a show. The only thing is his gas tank kind of didn't hold up for the entirety of the fight, which is obviously not good. And Shah's coming in this fight. He's 19-6. He's going to be the shorter of the two fighters. He's got a 4-inch reach disadvantage here, but he's a really good wrestler. He's shown that in his fights overseas. And he's going to need to use that grappling a ton in this fight in order to get the win here. But I just think Kolaba is, he's faced, better grapplers in his time. He trains with Alexander Volkanovski, in all of them. He's actually helped on The Ultimate Fighter and helping Alexander Volkanovski and their training staff, for those fighters. So, going in, he should have the takedown defense in order to keep this fight on the feet, where he has the massive striking, the massive power advantage. Shah's been knocked out by Zhangru Ru. Sorry, I'm botching names, but he fought last month against Vargas, where a lot of people. It was a back and forth fight, but it was a fight that he arguably lost. And Shaw got knocked out by him in the first round. So I think Kolaba can do the same thing. I think he has very heavy hands. We've seen that in his previous fights. He's got some really good striking, and that length of his should serve him well, especially with that right hand. I see him kind of putting him out with that right hand. So yeah, I got Calabal here at minus 245. Maybe taking him by a knockout, might give you some decent odds here. For him by knockout. So, Calabal by KO. All right, Calabal by KO. Give me a second. Plus 285. I actually think that's a pretty decent line considering the massive power advantage that he does have on the feet. I don't think that's a bad play at all. I know the more likelihood of what could happen is a decision, but given almost plus 300, it's worth the risk in my opinion. But yeah, all right. Next fight up, we have a fight in the flyweight division. Another fight in the flyweight division between Bruno Silva and Victor Rodriguez. Silva's 11-5 and 2-1. Victor Rodriguez 7-3, 5'4" for the Brazilian, 5'5" for Rodriguez, 65-inch reach for Silva, 67-inch reach for Rodriguez. Right now, Silva is a minus 400 favorite, and the comeback on Rodriguez is a plus 300 underdog. Oh man, this is a really good fight. I feel like it's going to be, as long as this fight is keep standing on the feet, I think it's going to be extremely close. I think it's going to be a lot closer than minus 400 plus 300. Victor Rodriguez has some pretty good power, I believe. 100% of his wins, all 7 of his wins have come by knockout. So he's got power in his hands. He's fought at 135, fought 125. So I think that power does translate a lot down at 125 pounds. And then you got Silva. You look what he did in his last fight against JP Buys. I think he looked sensational. That was his first UFC win against a top prospect, and he looked great. Silva is normally his best, I think, avenue to win this fight is to take this fight to the mat. I think that's where he has probably the much bigger advantage. But the thing is, he tends to get sucked into standing and banging in the center of the octagon. So I'm super looking forward to this fight. I think it's going to be back and forth battle between these two. Victor Rodriguez has never seen the scorecard, so all of his 10 fights he's either gotten finished or he's won by finish, and I believe majority of Silva's fights also have ended inside the distance. So I'm really liking the other 2.5 rounds at minus 165. I think that's my favorite play here. But taking a shot on Victor Rodriguez at plus 300 is really not a bad play. I know I see a lot of people taking Bruno Silva here, and I don't fault them whatsoever because Silva, he's a proven veteran. He's faced, far better competition than Rodriguez. But the thing is, plus 300, you have that variable when a guy that all 7 of his wins have come by knockout. It shows that he does have the power to end the fight at any given time, and you're getting 3-1 on a shot of that possibly happening. I think it's worth a gamble. He may not win, but if we're talking about, value, I think he's got a little bit of value. Plus, at that plus 300 mark. All right. Next up, we have a fight at 170 pounds between Court McGee and Claudio Silva. McGee's 20-10, Silva's 14-2. Both are 5'11", 75.5-inch reach for McGee, 71-inch reach for Silva. Right now, McGee, this is basically a pick'em fight, and complete pick'em, minus 105 across the board. This is a fight that I really didn't want to dig too deep into. I do not trust either one of these two with my money whatsoever. I mean, these two guys are in the complete tail end of their careers. But what McGee has going for him, he doesn't get finished. He's tough as nails. He's got that grinding style about him. He doesn't get taken down often either. He's never been submitted. And, Claudio Silva, his go-to is submissions. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and majority of his wins come by submission. So when it comes down to it, if I had to choose, I'd probably go McGee, but there's no way I'm betting on either one of these two. I understand if you have a strong lean on either one of these sides, and I totally get it because the line is a dead pick 'em. You're getting a good odds no matter who you're taking, but I just can't. I can't trust my money on Court McGee at this day and age or Claudio Silva. We already seen how gassed Silva was in his last fight against James Krause. James Krause was all types of messed up, especially with his leg, and he couldn't capitalize on it because he was so incredibly tired. And that's not somebody I want to put my money on. So staying clear of this fight, but if I'm choosing, I'll probably take Court McGee. I think he should be able to outlast him. I think he should be able to get the better of the exchanges on the feet. And I think he should be able to keep this fight on the feet as well, and where he pretty much has the massive advantage. All right. Next up, we have a fight. This is the first fight on the main card. I don't know why, but I'm super looking forward to this fight. This is going to be a banger of a fight at 185 pounds between Jack Hermansson and Edmund Shahbazyan. Hermansson's 21-6, Shahbazyan 11-1, 6'1" for Hermansson, 6'2" for Shahbazyan, 77.5 reach for Hermansson, 74-inch reach for Shahbazyan. Shahbazyan comes in this fight for the first time off of a loss by the hands of Derek Brunson. Brunson just seemed too much for him in that fight, and then that was pretty much the coming out party for Brunson. I believe that was his first fight since moving to Stanford MMA, training with Henry Hoof. He's looked sensational since making that camp move there. And the grinding style, the pressure, and the wrestling was just too much for Shahbazyan. And it's gonna happen when you're a young fighter, when you're being pushed to the top, as fast as he possibly can. I mean, he's coming from the Ronda Rousey camp, so that's kind of what's gonna happen. He's super young. I believe he's only like 23, 24 in his career. And then you have Jack Hermansson, who's coming off a loss against Marvin Vettori, where he was pretty much beaten in every aspect of the fight. He was beaten up on the feet. He was beaten on the ground. He was just all around. It was a fantastic performance for Vettori. Hermansson's coming in this fight. I think he's had COVID, or his tournament has had COVID recently, which is why he was pushed back a week. So, and here we are. Man, I really like Hermansson. I like his style. His grappling is top notch. His jiu-jitsu is really, really good. We've seen it against Kelvin Gastelum, where he got that leg. He was able to almost detach it from his body, where he had to tap out within the first minute or so. So very, very impressive there. But when this fight's on the feet, he's very lackluster. He gets hit a ton. We saw that with Vettori. And I feel like he's going to get hit a ton here against Shahbazyan. Shahbazyan has got some power in his hands. He's a really good technical boxer. He's very good there. And other than Brunson, no one else has really been able to take him down and control him. So it really boils down to if Jack's able to take this fight to the mat or not. But I have a really funny feeling that Shahbazyan comes in there and starches Hermansson in the first round. I feel like he's going to get caught with a right hand, and I think Shahbazyan's in a lot better shape than we saw in his last fight. If we saw his last fight, he just looked out of it. He looked like he didn't want to be there. You could go back to the weigh-ins against Brunson, and you saw that his demeanor wasn't there. This one, he looks fresh. He looks ready to go. He looks like he wants to be there. He looks like he wants to fight. And that's a scary Shahbazyan. I think the sky's the limit for him. I think he's still one of the top prospects in the middleweight division. I know he's got his first loss, but I think he's going to be able to learn from it, rise to the occasion here, and get the knockout win here, and show these people that he's still one of the top prospects, and he still can be one of the best fighters in the middleweight division. And the line on him is plus 125, and then Jack Hermansson's minus 135. I like the dog here at plus 125. I think he gets the win here. I even think he wins by a first round knockout, to be honest with you. And if you want to sprinkle a little bit on that, let's see what that line is. I do think we get We're getting a decent line on there. I don't think I touched base on that fight, but yeah, Shabazian by first round knockouts plus 500. I think that's a pretty decent spot. I really do. All right. I think I missed on one fight actually, and we'll touch on that next if I have it up here. No, I don't have it up here, but we'll touch on it anyways. All right, we'll touch on the fight in the heavyweight division, which is the fight that I kind of messed up on. Sorry about that. With a fight between Ben Rothwell and Chris Barnett. Rothwell's a minus 300 favorite. Barnett's a plus 270 underdog. Barnett's coming into this fight, taking this fight on about a week or two notice. Barnett is known across the hardcore MMA community. He's been fighting for 10 plus years overseas. He's got 16 wins by knockout. He's much smaller than Rothwell. I think he's about 7 inches shorter, 3-inch reach disadvantage as well. But he's super exciting to watch. Super exciting to watch. You're talking about a guy he throws super unorthodox strikes, spinning back kicks, flying knees, just a bunch of unorthodox strikes that I believe could really give Ben Rothwell fits. You're talking about a guy that's super flat-footed, super stationary, gets hit a ton. I know Rothwell's tough as nails. He doesn't get knocked out, but he tends to fade as the fight goes on. I know he throws a ton of volume. He's much bigger than his opponent, and this arguably should be a really fairly easy fight for him. But Rothwell has not looked good. I don't feel like he's hungry enough anymore. He's only got one knockout in the last half a decade, and that was against Stefan Struve after he kneed him in the balls like twice. And he was losing that fight up until that point. And then we've seen in his most recent fights where he's faded just after 5 minutes. I know I'm going out on a limb here, and I'm probably one of the only few that's taking a guy that's half a foot shorter than his opponent. But I think Chris Barnett has a chance here. Beast Boy has a chance, and I really hope he does get the win because I want to see that post-fight dancing celebration that he does. So I'm really looking forward to him. I'm really looking forward to his debut, and I really do hope he gets a win here. All right, so we're finally up to our second fight on the main card, which is a fight at 145 pounds between Ricardo Ramos and Bill Algeo. Ramos is 14-3. Algeo is 14-5. Ramos is 5'9". Algeo 6 foot, 72-inch reach for Ramos and 73-inch reach for Algeo. Right now, Algeo is a minus 122 favorite, and the comeback on Ramos is a plus 112 underdog. All right, this is a fight I'm extremely looking forward to as well. You're talking about two guys that really bring it on fight night. I think Ramos does have the grappling edge here. He's gotten takedowns in pretty much every single one of his fights. I believe he's averaging, if I go to the numbers, but he's averaging over 2 takedowns per 15 minutes. He's averaging 1.99 takedowns per 15 minutes. He's accurate on 56% of his takedowns, which is extraordinary. And then you come looking at Algeo. He's been taken down in all 3 of his fights. We're talking from Contender Series up into his most recent fight against Spike Carlisle. Was taken down in each one of those fights at least 2 or more times. That's not really a good thing coming in here in this fight against the black belt and Ramos. But what he does have is he's very good scrambling. He hasn't been subbed in, I think, 6 years. And he's only been subbed twice very early on in his career. He's also a black belt, so the chance of him getting subbed, I think, is very slim. He uses his scrambles to get to his feet. He does have the massive output advantage. You're talking about he's landing 6.8 strikes per minute, opposed to Ramos is only landing 3 strikes a minute. And if you look at Ramos, he's been outstruck by almost everybody in his UFC time. So if this fight does stay for long periods of time on the feet, Algeo does have this fight in the bag. But time and time again, we've seen Algio get stuck on the bottom. We've seen him get taken down. So it's whether or not he can keep this fight on the feet. If he does, he wins. I think he should win fairly easily. I think that pace and the pressure and the volume is really going to take a toll on Ramos. And we looked in his last fight, he's only 1-1, 145 pounds. He got knocked out by Lerone Murphy, who I was very, very high on in that fight against Ramos because he's the bigger, stronger guy, and he has good takedown defense. If you got good takedown defense, you can beat Ramos, and then Ramos shouldn't really be fighting at 145 pounds. I think he's one of the smaller guys in the division, and if he was able to stay at 135, I would have been happy. I love betting him as a bantamweight, but betting as a featherweight, this is arguably the tallest fighter that he's faced in his entire career. I'm leaning towards Algio here. I think he's got the better striking. I think he's going to be able to get back up when he's taken down. He's done it against Ricardo Lamas. He's done it against Brendan Lotney. He's done it against Spike Carlisle. I don't think Ramos, being the smaller guy, is going to be able to keep him on the mat. And I definitely don't think he's going to be able to submit him either. So I'm taking Bill Algio here. I'm taking him at -122, and I think it's a great fight. All right. Next fight up is a fight in the women's featherweight division between Felicia Spencer and Norma Dumont. Spencer's 8-2, Dumont's 5-1, 5-6 for Spencer, 5-7 for Dumont, 68-inch reach for Spencer, 67-inch reach for Dumont. Right now, Spencer is a -175 favorite, and the comeback on Dumont's a +165 underdog. All right, this is basically a classic striker versus grappler matchup. As long as this fight stays on the feet, Dumont has the advantage all day. She has the volume advantage. She has the power advantage. She has the more technical striking advantage. But Dumont has never faced the caliber of grappler that is Felicia Spencer as well. So, and this is going to be the first time she's facing a very big, very strong grappler. She's faced Megan Anderson, where she defended one takedown. I know Megan Anderson is tall. She's very strong, but she's also not a grappler like Spencer. And I think pretty much once Spencer takes it to the mat, it's pretty much set and done. I don't think Dumont's going to be able to get back up. I think once this fight hits the mat, much like all of Spencer's other fights, other than Chris Cyborg and Amanda Nunes, it's gonna be a finish here. I really do. I'm pretty confident in Spencer's abilities. She's tough enough on the feet to not get finished. You're talking about she went the distance with Cyborg. She went the distance with Nunes. So I think she can withstand the power of Dumont here as well. And once she gets that body lock takedown, I think that's all she wrote. I think Spencer gets a win here inside the distance as well. Which I don't know what that line would be. Spencer winning inside the distance. Because, she can win by TKO or submission, but Spencer to win by inside the distance. Spencer wins the distance. Almost there. +200, not bad. Definitely not bad. Because I feel like once she gets the fight to the mat, it should be all she wrote at that point. Dumont's only 5-1. She's still fairly new in the sport. Spencer is 8-2. She's got double the amount of experience. She also fought the much better competition. You're talking about fighting Cyborg and Nunes will do that to you. So I'm going with Spencer here, and I think it's a much winnable matchup. You're talking about Dumont also. She's missed weight twice in the last two fights, so and she was facing people that aren't as great grapplers as Spencer. So picking Spencer here, she should get the win, and she get the win inside the distance as well. All right, next fight up is in the heavyweight division between Justin Tafa and Jared Vanderaa. Tafa's 4-2, Vanderaa's 11-5, 6 foot for Tafa, 6'4" for Vanderaa, 74-inch reach for Tafa, 80-inch reach for Vanderaa. Right now, Tafa's a -175 favorite, and to come back on Vander as a plus 165 underdog. All right, in this fight, this I feel like is more of a classic striker versus grappler as well, because if we saw in Vander's fight in the Contender Series, he dragged the fight to the mat, and that was pretty much all she wrote there. I don't think he has much on the feet for Tafa, really, other than just trying to keep his distance and throwing an overhand right just to get in close and drag this fight to the mat. It's a really tough fight to call. I know a lot of people are very high on Tafa because we've seen what happened to Vander in his UFC debut against Spivak, but I think Spivak's a lot better fighter than Tafa. We've seen Spivak. He's a decent striker, and he was able to take Vander down and just pretty much beat him up everywhere. But Vander is much bigger than Tafa. You're talking he's 4 inches taller. He's got a 6-inch reach advantage. As long as he can stay out of the power of Tafa, I feel like he could drag this fight to the mat. I wouldn't be playing Tafa at minus 175. He's not a lock to get a knockout. We've seen against Carlos Felipe. He can lose fights because of the fact that he doesn't throw a ton of volume. Felipe won a fight where he was losing, but he won just based on doing more. And as long as Jerry Vander can do more, he can win his fight, as long as he does get knocked out. And then Tafa's only 4-2. You're talking about a guy who's only got 6 professional fights and he's in the UFC. I know he's trained with Mark Hunt. He's kind of like the next coming of Mark Hunt, but I just don't think he's there yet. I think he needs more time. And I think Jared Vander can take him down, can wear on him, and can get a finish on the mat. I know Tafa's not been taken down yet, but I don't think he's faced a great wrestler yet. It's not like Jared Vander is a great wrestler, but he's capable enough of taking somebody like Tafa, who's much smaller than him, down the mat. So I kind of have to go with the underdog here. I know he looked great in his UFC debut, but I think this is a much more winnable fight for him in this matchup. All right, so we're up to our co-main event, which is a great fight in the women's strawweight division between Yan Xiaonan and Carla Esparza. Yan is 13-1. Esparza is 18-6. 5'5" for Yan, 5'1" for Carla. 63-inch reach across the board. All right, this is basically a pick and fight as well. Minus 107 for Yan and minus 103 for Carla. This is a great fight. I'm super looking forward to this fight. And this is another grappler versus striker fight. Bar none. We've seen time and time again that Carla comes in as an underdog and cashes like crazy. We've seen a ton of line movement coming in on Carla as well. She was a big underdog as where it started, and now it's all the way down to a pick'em. And I understand that to a sense. We've seen Yan get stuck on her back against Carla for about almost 6 minutes. Against Claudia Gadelha in their last fight for about 6 minutes. And it could happen here again, but it's just a massive, massive striking discrepancy between the two. You're talking about Yan, who's landing 6.42 strikes per minute, compared to Carla, who's landing only 2.29. That's over 4 strikes per minute more landed, not thrown, landed than Carla. So Carla pretty much has to take her down early and keep her there for long periods of time. And we've seen Yan, she's got a decent takedown defense, 75%. That's pretty damn good. Gadelha only was successful on 2 of her, I believe, 10 takedown attempts, 10 or more takedown attempts. She's a much bigger fighter. I think she uses her hips very well to keep the fight on the feet. And I'm taking Yan here. She's 6-0 in the UFC. She's faced really good competition. She's faced Angela Hill, Claudia Gadelha, Carolina Kovacevic. She's fought top-notch competitors. And with an impressive win here, she could possibly get a title shot. I know we were talking about Mackenzie Dern and Marina Rodriguez fighting soon as well, but it really comes down to if Jan or Carla get an impressive win here, they probably get a shot over those two. But yeah, I'm going on a limb here. I think Jan should be able to keep this fighter on the feet. If she doesn't, I think she'll be able to get it back on the feet. And I do think that damage will outweigh the control time from Carla. We've seen that from the judges in previous fights thus far, and we've seen that damage has been triumphing over control time. So I think the damage from Jan will be able to outweigh the control time that Carla's going to get. So I'm going to take Jan here. I'm taking her by decision. I got it at plus 150, and I think that's a really good line. All right, and we're finally up to our main event. This is a banger of a fight. I can't wait for it in the bantamweight division between two of the top bantamweights on the roster in Rob Font and Cody Garbrandt. Rob Font 18-4, Cody Garbrandt is 12-3, 5-8 across the board, 71.5-inch reach for Font, 65.5-inch reach for Garbrandt. That's a 6-inch reach advantage for Rob Font. This is going to be a crazy firefight between these two for however long it lasts. Right now, the line is set at minus 120 for Rob Font, and the comeback from Cody Garbrandt is a plus 110 underdog. I am stoked for this one. Right now, Font's coming in off of 3 straight wins, very, very impressive wins, no less as well. Came in and deaded Marlon Moraes. Moraes looked good early on, came in, got some takedowns, but Font weathered the early storm and really laid it on him in that first round and put him out. He had wins over Ricky Simone, very good win there as well, and Sergio Pettis before he went over to Bellator. That was a very impressive win there. He's got 5 of his 8 wins in the UFC by knockout. And Cody's coming off of arguably one of the top knockouts in 2020 with that walk-off knockout against Rafael Sansao. That was just incredible, absolutely incredible. He looked a lot different. I know, he's talked about it. We've seen it. He looked a lot different. He wasn't going in there, exchanging in the pocket. He was letting a Sansao be the aggressor. He was letting a Sansao push forward. But the speed and the movement of Cody was giving Sansao a lot of fits. He was throwing a ton of calf kicks, and I see that being pretty much of the same here against Rob Font, because Rob Font's a boxer. He's pretty much the bantamweight version of Calvin Kattar. They're essentially the same type of fighter. They're boxing. Rob Font easily has the best boxing in the entire division. I know we talk about Cody's boxing, but I think Rob Font's boxing is a lot crisper. He goes to the body, goes to the head. He uses his jab just like Calvin Kattar does. He does the 1-2 much better than anybody in the entire bantamweight division, and he gives anybody problems. And I do think that jab, being able to stick and move, and just keep, Cody Garbrandt outside of the 6-inch reach that he has, and just jabbing in the face. If we saw Rob Font, and if you saw that fight with Pedro Munoz or Rob Font, he busted his nose with just one of those jabs. Same thing could happen here. His jab is very deadly. And I love somebody that's got such a massive reach advantage over his opponents, and he uses it to his advantage. He uses his reach. He uses that jab. He even throws leg kicks. He throws high, heavy head kicks. So I do think the sky's the limit for Rob Font here. And we've seen Cody get knocked down 3 of his last 4. I know he's not the same fighter, but you got to go in. He's had surgery over the last year. He's had a severe case of COVID over the last year. And then he didn't go against a heavy hitter. He went against a declining Rafael Sansao, who he was just getting battered coming in. I don't see Rob Font being able to get battered coming in. He's never been knocked down in his career. Never been knocked down in his UFC career. He's got a chin on him. I think he could go toe-to-toe with Cody, and I think he could put him out. Rob Font's got power. We're talking 5 of his 8 wins have come by knockout. You know, you're talking about a guy that's winning there against John Lineker. He's winning against their Pedro Munoz. He's winning against heavy hitters, and none one of them really cracked his chin. I don't think Cody's going to be able to. And he has to get in range. He has to come in the pocket. And when he comes in the pocket, Rafon's going to be there. He's going to be there with some heavy hands, heavy leather. He got that right hand. I think he's going to put him out. I like the under 4.5 rounds here. Obviously, it's a little juiced up at minus, like, I think 240. I think I think that's a really decent parlayable piece at minus, you know, maybe with Usmagulov and, you know, David Dvorak. I think you get that close to plus money. I think that's a pretty good prop bet there. And then you got Rob Font winning by knockout at plus 160. I think that's a great play there as well. I don't think Cody can take the heat. I don't think, you know, Cody can take the pressure of Font. And I think he's going to get it done. I think he's going to get the biggest win of his career. I think he's going to put his name in the hat as one of the top, you know, bantamweights in the division, and possibly, you know, maybe one win away from getting a title shot. I know, you know, we have TJ Dillashaw and Corey Sandhagen waiting in the wings, and I know we're waiting for Jan to take on Aljo when he's ready to go. But Rafa is right there in the neck of this. And I think he should be able to take on Corey Sandhagen and, you know, and the winner of Corey Sandhagen and TJ Dillashaw for the #1 contender spot, because I feel like if he gets the knockout over Cody, he deserves that type of recognition. He deserves to get that type of big fight. And this is arguably his biggest fight of his career. So he's getting, you know, the recognition now. So I'm looking forward to it, and I hope he gets a win here, because he's paid his dues in the UFC. He's paid his dues over time, and he deserves it. He's on a roll, and a win here against Cody, he's going to solidify himself as one of the best bantamweight contenders in the world. So that is our breakdown for UFC Vegas 27, which starts in about 15 minutes. I think maybe a little later, probably around 4:30, because we lost 2 fights on the fight card. But yeah, there's a lot of money to be made. I'm super looking forward to this fight card. It should be stacked top to bottom. If you want to make some money, hit me up or go to thefightanalyst.com and get my package today. It's only 25 buckaroos. And we're going to make a ton of money, guys. We're going to make a ton of money. We got a lot of things coming up. We got Peter fighting in 2 weeks. I'm hoping I will be out there in Tennessee with him as well, getting a ton of footage and just you know, supporting our man in hopes of he getting the win that I know he will be getting. He should be getting. I'm thinking a first-round knockout within 3 minutes. That's how confident I am in this man getting the win here. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And guys, if you aren't following me already, go and follow me on Twitter, Fight Analyst LLC, Instagram, The Fight Analyst LLC, and Facebook, The Fight Analysts. I will be here for all day if you guys need some advice making some bets. So with that said, we will see you all cashing out at the ticket window. Until next time, you guys have a great night, a great weekend, and let's cash these bets. Thank you all for tuning in. You guys have a great night. Talk to you guys later.